Right, today we're going to talk about the AI chat. So when you're not sure on something or how to do it in Giraffe, the AI chat is a great source of information there. It's trained on a knowledge base, which you can access and it references. But I've just loaded into a new project here as a new user. So this is the welcome screen that I see. I can see the home apps open there, and there's some GIFs to help me sort of step through creating a first project. However, if I get stuck along the way or if I have a question, there's a little chat feature down the bottom here. So if I open that, there's an option to talk to Giraffe. So I can then ask it a question. How I start my first project. So let's just keep it very simple. I'm just trying to sort of understand a little bit more about Giraffe. I've come in as a first-time user, and so it's gone away, accessed our knowledge base, and then responded accordingly. So you can read the response there. You create a new project. So currently I'm in Scratchpad state, which is correct. At the top in the URL, I can see Scratchpad there. So I'm not in a saved project, and I'll need to save my project, which if I go to step 2, is telling me to draw a project boundary. So every project needs one, and I can see that option up here as well, which is helpful. So let's actually do that now, and I'm just going to use point. So I'll select point, done, save my project, training 1, save that. And so I'm literally just following these steps that the AI chat has created for me. Draw your project boundary, click save project, name it, and then hit save. We've done that. And then you'll land in a saved project, and everything you do from there will autosave, which is absolutely correct. And a little bit of peace of mind as well when you're working in Giraffe. And then it's got a little tip here. Starting your project clears anything you've drawn in Scratchpad. So only do it once you're ready to save. So that would mean if I was to go, instead of saving it, if I was to go back up here and say new project, then it would clear anything I've drawn if I hadn't already gone through that save project. Because this is our project drop down list, I can see all my saved projects. Once I've drawn that boundary and taken those initial steps, it'll populate in here. And then it's asking me, want to start from a blank project, or do you already have a parcel or site do you want to use? So it's suggested an option for me to continue developing my site. And let's expand on this and say I'm looking to do a mixed use development, mixed use let's leave it at that and see what it comes back with. And so it's gone away again. It's all been trained off the knowledge base. And so now what it's doing is saying, perfect for mixed use development around 15 stories. We can draw your building massing and then set levels, floor to floor, etc. like that. So it's telling me to start a new project, which I've done. Define the site boundary on that site, and use the building tools to draw your footprint. So the building tools located up the top here is what it's referring to there, and then setting the floor to floor in order to suit my sort of retail podium, and residential above is what I have in mind for my development. So it's quite helpful there in stepping you through the process, because you would imagine I'd sort of zoom in on my site somewhere, and we could say we're on the corner here. And if I jump up to my building tools, which is what it's referring to, and let's look for the retail. So I'm just going to draw a very simple retail massing here. I can see that's populated. And again, just following these steps, let's say that's 2 levels. And if I wanted to adjust the floor, we can do that at the usage level. So I go into the usage editor here, and this is where we adjust the usage, which is what I've drawn on the screen. So the retail element that we see here is a usage, and most things in Giraffe are usages, and they are able to house properties within that. So let's just walk you through that rather than me talk about it. So if I open up the usage editor, I can see retail is the one I'm currently editing. So this is all of the properties that are inherited from my very simple rectangular drawing that I've done on the map. And if I go down to floor to floor, I can see it's currently set at 4.5. So if I had better knowledge to my own sort of design, then I could say, no, that's not going to be 4.5. We're going to adjust that to 4 meters. There's an efficiency and there's a bunch of other analytics that are built in that you can play around with and configure. You can add your own as well. But I'm just going to adjust the floor to floor, and we will hit save up the top. You can see that adjusted, so that slowly decreased in height to match my 4 meter floor to floor. And so I'm happy with that. I'm going to jump out, and I want to put a residential on top of that. So I'm currently on the same layer, and you have to be on the same layer when you want elements to stack upon each other. So I'm going to select my feature or my usage, Control C, Control V, stack it on top of each other. And let's just say I want sort of a 4 meter setback here, 4 meter setback here from my podium. And it's still currently the retail usage. And so all I want to do here is go over to the properties on the left-hand side, and we want to change this usage to residential. So if I just type in residential, it's adopted different properties. So remember, the usage editor, this is a usage, and this residential usage has different properties to the retail one that we created. So if I click into here, I'm now editing the residential usage. I can see the floor to floor is 3.2. There's some building data around the efficiency, the cell efficiency, etc. And there's also dwellings. So there's a mix that's been assumed within this usage that is then flowing through to analytics. So it's currently a 20% studio, 35% one bed, 37% two bed. So this is just the default. You can configure this. You could change these to suit whatever you're trying to calculate. If it's in a commercial sort of dwelling or a corporate office, you could maybe change these to meeting rooms, workspaces, private offices, things like that, and then adjust the size and have them flow through, which would be quite helpful. So we're just looking at the residential typology, and let's say this is student housing. So I just want to remove the 3 bed, and I don't want any 2 beds either. So I just want a 20-80 split for studio and 1 beds. And I can see if I scroll across here, the mix for the 2 and 3 bed are at 0%, and the 20 and 80% are correct and matching that. So this is just another way to change the mix here that we see. And then there's some other properties built into each of these usages in terms of the minimum area that it's going to calculate. So a studio is assumed at 45 square meters, and a 1 bed is assumed at 60. So there's some of the assumptions that we've made. Again, further properties and sort of costing analytics below, but we won't dive into that just yet. And then I'm just going to hit save up the top here, and that saves my adjustments that I've made to the residential usage. Can close that, and then I've got my residential on top, and we want to obviously grow that. So a few options here. You can go across to levels. You can adjust it manually here, or you can simply go into Shift G mode. So if I type Shift G, my keyboard, that enters me into a push-pull state. So if I grab the top now, I can just simply drag it up, and we've got our tower, which works quite nicely. Or you've got your keyboard shortcuts is the last one. So Q and A on your keyboard will allow you to adjust your levels dynamically, which is quite good. And we could sort of stack that again. So if I went Control C, Control V, stack it, and let's go back into Shift G, and let's bring this facade in, say, 7 meters. And now we've got a bit of a form and a step before we go up further. And maybe that's due to height controls that we're trying to abide by. So where we're at now is sort of ahead of where the draft chat we left off. So you could then expand on this and ask different questions like, what if I wanted to do different options, for example, which you can absolutely do. So if you were wanting to do different options, there's a number of ways to do that. But you can jump in here and ask the draft chatbot